Hi everybody, this is Michelle and welcome back to Call Me Crazy. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, and this is part 5 of my series called I'm in the Matrix but it's not what you think. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can go back and watch my first video of the series, which is called I'm Not in the Matrix. I'm in the Matrix but it's not what you think, part 1. This is going to be part 5. And this one is, I'm going to talk about the dentist and some things that I've gone through dealing with dentists in this country, in the US, and also in my home country, in the Bahamas, and kind of the differences that I've seen. And it kind of goes along with some things that I have gone through with my teeth and things that I have, some experiences I've had with my teeth. But let's just keep going. So, all of my life, even when I was a kid, when I was a child, I remember my mom would always take us to the dentist. She always made it a priority that you have to take care of your teeth. And as a kid, it means nothing to you. You don't get it, but it's not until you get much older that you realize that, yeah, we really do have to take care of our teeth because our adult teeth are the only teeth we have. And if we lose our teeth, there's no growing back. Your teeth don't grow back. You got to take care of them. These are the only ones we have. And I mean, there are ways that you can put in artificial teeth and things like that, but that's a very grueling process to go through, not to mention it's expensive, painful. So who wants to go through that when you can try your best to take care of your natural teeth? Sometimes no matter what you do, things still happen, but you at least got to try. So when I always remember my mom's 75. This is 2025. She's going to be 76 this year. And I remember she always said that she wants to go in the grave with all of her natural teeth in her mouth. And I think she still has all her natural teeth. I'm not sure if she lost any. I don't think so. But I'm pretty sure she still has all her natural teeth and she's 76. She has no implants, no dentures, no nothing like that. So I hope that I can keep up that trend when I get older because I still have all of my teeth and I even have all 4 of my wisdom teeth. So I have literally a full mouth of teeth. But there's a story behind this. But anyway, so going back to maybe when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I started to get very, very sensitive teeth. My teeth became extremely sensitive to hot and cold and also to sugar. And, I've always been diligent with going to the dentist and, the dentist, when I would go to the dentist, I would say, my teeth are just so sensitive. I don't know what's going on. And they would always check my teeth and everything appeared to be okay, but I just continued to always have sensitivity. And it's like not all my life, but I would say probably starting in my 20s up until now, I'm 53, I've always had sensitive teeth. When I say sensitive, I mean so sensitive to the point where when I go for a dental cleaning, they have to numb my entire mouth because I cannot take the dental instruments like the water pick and things that they use to clean your teeth. It is just too painful. I can't take it. So they literally have to numb my whole mouth. And when I tell people that, they say, wow, I've never heard of that before. Even when I go to the dentist, they say, it does happen occasionally, but it's very rare that they have a patient that is so sensitive that they cannot do a cleaning. I do cleanings, but they always have to numb me. That's how sensitive my teeth are. If I drink anything extremely cold or extremely hot, it's painful. And I have to kind of work around it, so to speak, in my mouth just to avoid the pain. Some teeth are worse than others. I think there's someone golfing in the background. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of tell you kind of a background of I've just always had sensitive teeth for at least the last, I want to say 25, 30 years. I've just always battled this sensitivity issue. And there goes the golf cart. Anyway, so lost my train of thought. So in the process of trying to overcome this sensitivity, I've done many different things. But let me go back a little bit. When I was in my early 30s, growing up as a child, I had fillings. Like as a child and teenager, I had fillings that were done. And back in my day, okay, I'm aging myself. Back in my day, they used to do the metal fillings, the mercury, I think it was, whatever metal they use. And I had a bunch of metal fillings in my mouth when I came into my 20s and 30s. And when I was in my early 30s, I replaced all of my, I had a lot of fillings. I think I had maybe like 8 or 10. It was a lot. So when I was in my early 30s and I had a little bit more money and I had access to good insurance and I had access to good dental care, I went ahead and I replaced all my metal fillings and I put in the amalgam. I think they call them amalgam. It's white. It matches the color of your teeth. So I don't have any of those metal fillings anymore. I replaced them all. And I can tell you that that was not fun to do, because they literally have to drill the whole filling out and replace it with another filling. And I had to do that like 8 or 10 times. And I already have sensitive teeth. So I really believe that me doing that, trying to do a good thing, which is removing the metal from my mouth, I think I actually made my teeth more sensitive, to be honest. So I think that may have actually contributed to more sensitivity. And then when I would go to the dentist and they would say, oh, you know, maybe you just need to do a deep cleaning to kind of get underneath the gum and that'll help with the sensitivity. I went ahead and did that, and I really believe that that made my teeth even more sensitive. So it was like I was caught in this vicious circle of, let's try to decrease the sensitivity by doing certain things. And I think by doing those things, I actually made my teeth even more sensitive. So I think I was caught in a vicious circle of trying to correct the problem and then making the problem worse. And then when I think I was like maybe early 30s-ish, I did gum surgery. I forgot I think they call it like flap surgery or something like that, where they actually cut open your gum and they clean underneath the gum and underneath the tooth. It's actually major surgery. I did it in 4 different parts, and they clean out all underneath the gum and underneath the tooth, and they do like this deep cleaning and they actually sew the gum back in place. And it was very invasive and kind of painful. I mean, of course I was numb to death, but to me it was still painful. And I did it in 4 different stages. And even after I did that, and they said, oh, this is going to take care of all your sensitivity because we're going to do a deep cleaning and all of that bacteria and whatever you have under there is going to be gone. And, you know, you give it a couple months and your sensitivity is going to disappear. No, it did not. As a matter of fact, I think that actually made it worse. So it's like the more I did, the more sensitive I got. The more I did, the more sensitive I got. So I just felt like I could never really correct the problem. I was doing everything I was quote unquote supposed to do, but nothing ever corrected the problem. Even to this day, as we speak, I still have extremely sensitive teeth. And it's very annoying because I do everything that I can do to possibly take care of my teeth. I go to the dentist regularly. I get my cleanings. I'm extremely diligent with my home care of my teeth. But no matter what I do, they're just sensitive. And I was talking to a dentist one time, this is years ago, and I remember he said that, you know, teeth are like, it's kind of like hereditary in a way, and sometimes it is what it is, meaning that you could be a person who never does anything to your teeth. You just do absolutely nothing, and you could have the best teeth in the world. You could be a person who is diligent and does all the right things, and you just have problems with your teeth. It's just how it is. It's just what it is. So I think I'm just one of those people that just does all the quote unquote right things, and I just always have problems with my teeth. Even though people say, oh, you have beautiful teeth, you have lovely teeth. Okay, maybe on the outside, but underneath the surface, there's a lot of problems, and I'm always fighting it. And when they do my x-rays, they always say, oh, you're losing bone and your teeth are going to fall out and all this. And I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, it is what it is. I just try to do the best I can to take care of them. And if I have problems along the way, I just have to deal with it. So Um, so I really believe that all the things I did to my teeth over the years, changing out all the fillings, doing these deep cleanings, doing the surgery, this and that, I think all those things actually made the problem worse, to be honest. I think if I were to go back in time, I probably wouldn't have done any of those things because I think it made it worse. Now, what is the alternative? You just do nothing? I don't know. What is the alternative? So I'm kind of caught between, should I have done those things or should I have done nothing? But honestly, if I were to do it all over again, I would have done nothing because I think it actually made my teeth worse. So, I mean, they look more pretty without the metal in them, but I think doing all that made it worse. So I just made some notes to make sure I don't miss out anything. So all my life coming up, going to the dentist as a young adult and going to the dentist, there was always this sense of sort of, we work with the patient, meaning that if there's an issue and it has to be addressed, we will talk with the patient and see what they're comfortable with. And some things maybe you can do now, maybe you can do later. But some things you might not want to do at all. It all depends on what the patient is comfortable with. Because if they tell me to do something and I say, you know, I really don't feel comfortable doing that, let's hold off on that, or let's do a wait and see approach. You know, they were always okay with that. They would work with you within reason. You know, they would give you their advice and their, what's the word? Diagnosis or whatever you want to call it. But as far as what you want to do going forward, they would give you their recommendation. And if you want to do it, fine. But if you don't want to do it, that's okay too. We'll work with you as best we can. So fast forward, I come to the US after having all these issues and my experience with the dentist just being like, they work with you with what you want to do. So I come to the US and kind of getting myself set up. Now, I admit that I did take a while before I established a relationship with a dentist. It's a combination of being afraid, being terrified of the dentist, knowing my teeth are sensitive, knowing that I have to be extremely comfortable with a dentist. And I just kind of put it off for a while. So I do admit that there was a long time where I did not establish a relationship with a dentist and I didn't have my cleanings. And so it was like maybe a year or two, honestly, where I didn't really go to the dentist. This is going back 8 years ago, something like that. So one day I wake up and I'm eating or having breakfast or whatever, and I feel like this really weird feeling in my tooth. So I'm like, what is that? So I realized a few minutes later that my tooth had cracked. It was one of my molars in the back. So I'm like, oh my goodness, my tooth cracked. So I knew right away that I had to find a dentist. And at that point, I had not established a relationship with a dentist. So I was like, oh boy, this is kind of like an emergency, but I really need to find a dentist and I don't have a dentist. So I was kind of forced into a situation where I had to find a dentist. So I just went to some random dentist. I don't remember how I found them. And they took me in right away and they had a look at my tooth and they said, oh yes, it does have a big crack in it. There was actually a piece of the tooth that was missing that kind of cracked off the top of the tooth. And they did x-rays and everything. Keep in mind, it's the first time I've ever been to this dentist. I don't know these people. I don't know them from the man on the moon. I'm just trying to get some assistance with my tooth. I don't want to lose my teeth. So they did x-rays and examined my teeth. And the dentist said, oh, we just need to pull the tooth. I said, you need to pull the tooth? Is that like the only option? Oh yeah, you don't have any other option. This tooth, you have to pull this tooth. So I said, well, can it be repaired? Can it be filled? There's absolutely no other option other than pulling it. No, there's no other option. We're not going to do anything else. You have to pull it. Okay. So, you know, I'm not one of those people that's just going to automatically just do whatever the doctor or the dentist says. I have to kind of process it and maybe do a little bit of my own research before I make a decision, especially something so drastic as having your tooth pulled. So I said, you know what? Let me think about this a day or two and then let me get back to you. Okay, fine. So I went to another dentist to get another opinion, and they said the same thing. Oh, we can't do anything for you. You just have to pull out the tooth. I said, and then what? Oh, well, we'll put an implant in for you. And, you know, they make it sound so simple. Oh, we just put in an implant, but that's anything to do with your teeth is not an easy process. It's painful, it's expensive, it's very invasive. And not to mention the fact that I'm already terrified of the dentist. I already have extremely sensitive teeth. So they make it sound so simple, but it's really not simple. So I said, okay, let me think about it. I went to a third dentist. They said the same thing. You just need to pull the tooth. And I'm like, there's no like working with you. There's no, let's see what we can do. There's no, okay, there could be another option. There's no, oh, maybe we can save the tooth. No, it's just, oh, pull the tooth out. Like, it's just no big deal. We just pull your tooth out. I'm like, why are they so casual about just pulling your tooth out of your head or whatever, out of your skull? Oh, just pull it out. No big deal. To me, that's not just a no big deal thing. That's extremely traumatic, extremely expensive, extremely painful. And that's not something that I'm prepared to just casually do without exploring other options. So this is the third dentist now. Oh, just pull the tooth out. Then they referred me to an endodontist. I didn't even know what an endodontist was. I guess you find out these things when you have to. I'm like, what is an endodontist? An endodontist is a dentist that specializes in root canals. So they said, well, you know, maybe they can look at it for you and maybe they could do a root canal, but I don't know. You just have to go see them and see what they say. So I did that. I went to the endodontist, thinking in my mind that, okay, maybe they'll give me another option. Maybe there is a way to save the tooth. I went to the endodontist and they said the same thing. You need to pull the tooth. I said, well, I don't understand why it's just automatically pull the tooth. Oh, well, if we try to repair the tooth, we don't know if it's going to last. So I said, well, you know, I'm prepared to take that risk that if you repair it, maybe it won't last. I don't know. But can we at least try? No, we're not prepared to try because we're not going to take responsibility if something happens with the tooth. I said, well, I'll sign a waiver saying that I am prepared to take the risk. It might last one day or it might last a year. Who knows? But I'm prepared to take the risk. And I'll sign a waiver saying that you're not responsible. No, we still won't do it. We're not prepared to do that. So I just kind of felt like there was no dentist, because I went to 4 different dentists. So it's not like I only went to one person. The 4 different dentists told me straight up that they're not prepared to do anything for me other than remove the tooth. They're not prepared to fill it. They're not prepared to repair it. They're not even prepared to try, even if I want to take the risk. So I quickly started to realize that, you know, it's really not about you as a patient. It's 2 things. It's number one, they don't want liability, and they want to make money, because if they pull the tooth, number one, they make money from pulling the tooth, and number 2, they make money when they put the implant to replace the tooth. So all of that is about making money. And you know, all dentists might not be like this, but if you go to 4 different dentists and they all give you the same response, it kind of tends to make me believe that it's really about liability and money, because they're not prepared to work with you, even if you're prepared to assume the liability and sign and say, I don't hold you responsible. So what I did was I got on a plane, I flew to the Bahamas, and I went to my dentist that I have a relationship with. And you know what she said? She said, sure, I'll fill the tooth for you. And I don't give you any guarantees. It might last a week or it might last 10 years. We do not know. Nobody knows. But if you're prepared to take the risk, I will fill the tooth for you. She filled the tooth, filled in the little piece that was broken off. And it was definitely before COVID. I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019. So she filled the tooth for me. And she said, you know, no guarantees. I don't give you any assurances that this is going to work, but we're going to try. She filled a tooth, and this is now 2025, and my tooth is still intact. So why is it that 4 different dentists tell me that there is no other option, that you have to remove the tooth? So that is proof. I am proof that the dentist was willing to at least try to fill it, knowing full well that it's my burden to take that risk, which I was prepared to do. And my tooth is still intact to this day. And that's been, what, 6-7 years. Now, who knows how long it'll last, but it is what it is. So then, after I had this experience with my tooth being cracked, I realized, I said, you know what, Michelle, you really have to establish a relationship with a dentist here, because you can't be doing this back and forth. You have to establish a relationship. So I started to look for a dentist, a permanent dentist that I could go to. And the first one I went to was like one of these corporate, I don't want to call their name, but one of these corporate dentists where they have, like, it's one parent company, and they have offices all over the US, or maybe it's all over Florida, I'm not sure. They have all different dentists, so it's just one name. And, you know, it's kind of like a McDonald's, and then they have all different locations all over, so they all report to one corporate entity. So I started to go to one of those type dentists, and I quickly realized that they are beholden to their corporate rules or their corporate policies. So if you have an issue, they are going to follow their procedure for that particular issue to the letter, and there is no varying from that. So if you have an issue and you say, you know, I really don't want to take that route, I want to try something different, they're not going to do it. They're going to say, this is our policy, this is what we do in this particular situation, and that's it. End of story. And if you don't want to do that, we don't want your business. As a matter of fact, I had a dentist tell me one time that if I don't want to follow their policy, they don't want my business, because I wanted to try a different route and maybe, you know, maybe do something a little different that I felt comfortable with. They were not prepared to do it. So it goes back to liability. And then also in the case of the corporate dentist, they are not prepared to work with the patient one-on-one, because they are beholden to their corporate policies, and they're not gonna go outside of their corporate policies. So what I did was I tried to find a dentist that has their own individual office, and the dentist is like the owner of the office, so they have a little bit more flexibility in what they can do. And I did end up finding someone like that, even though they have flexibility because they're the owner of the practice, they still are very touchy about liability and very touchy about we don't want to do that because it could be risky, and we don't want to take the risk, and we don't want to be held responsible, which I understand to a certain extent. But you should also be willing to work with your patient to say, let's do what you feel comfortable with, even though it's you know what I'm trying to say. So it's very difficult here in this country to find a dentist, or even a doctor for that matter, that's willing to work with you one-on-one and do what you feel comfortable with, and kind of maybe in some cases do like a wait and see approach, or we'll just kind of approach it a different way, as opposed to this is how we do it and that's it, end of story. It's very difficult to find that. And the dentist I go to now, so if one is, we are not flexible at all, and what we do is what we do and that's it, and 10 is we do whatever the patient says, there's somewhere in the middle, maybe a 3 or 4. So I think that's kind of the best I can find for right now, although there's still a lot of that this is our procedure type of thing that I have to contend with. So yeah, so let me see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, so there was another thing where when I first was trying to establish a dentist here in the US, I went to a dentist, I can't remember which one, and they said, well, I think they did some x-rays, and they said that I had some like a little bit of bone loss, and they said that I need a deep cleaning. So keep in mind, I've already done deep cleanings in the past, and in my opinion, they actually make my teeth worse. Because I really think that our teeth are not designed to have so much intervention over and over and over. I think that there's a point where our teeth just can't take anymore, and it's enough. Enough is enough. So I think all the things I did over the years, including the deep cleanings, actually exasperated the problem. So when they said, you have to do a deep cleaning, I said, no, I don't want to do a deep cleaning. I've been down that road already. I think it actually makes the problem worse. Just do a regular cleaning and I'm good with that. Oh, no, 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 no. If you don't want to do a deep cleaning, we don't want your business. Well, why not? Well, it goes back to liability. So if you have some issues underneath the gums or with bone loss, and we don't do a deep cleaning, and something happens to your teeth, we're going to be held responsible. So they don't want the liability. If we just do a regular cleaning, which is just a surface cleaning of the teeth, and you still have some issues going on, we can't do that because we don't want to be held liable. So it goes back to liability. So this is just battles I've had over the years with my teeth, and to this day, I'm just super, super, super sensitive. And to be honest with you, in order for me to even have a dentist to go to, period, I had to end up doing a deep cleaning because otherwise they would not even take me as a patient. They said, if you're not prepared to do a deep cleaning, at least initially, we can't take you as a patient because a regular cleaning, we're not going to do it for you. Period. End of story. Bye-bye. So having this experience over and over, I realized, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to kind of give in to do the deep cleaning, at least initially, and then just kind of do maintenance after that. And that's kind of what I've been doing. But you know, I'm kind of like, when it comes to medical things, I've never been one to think that everything they tell us to do is quote unquote the right thing, because I think sometimes it might not be the right thing. Don't just take it hook, line, and sinker. The same thing with dentists. I think a lot of times what they tell us to do is not necessarily the right thing. They kind of go by the book, oh, this is what we've been told is the right thing, but it's not right for everybody. And I've been battling this not my whole life, but probably for the last 25 years, I've been battling, wanting to take care of my teeth, not wanting to lose my teeth, and following the dentist's instructions or recommendations, and balancing that with, maybe I shouldn't do every single thing they tell me to do because it might not be the right thing. So I've been trying to balance this my whole life, and am I doing the right thing? I don't know. I still have and then another thing I forgot. All those dentists that I went to, you know what they said to me? Oh, you have all your wisdom teeth. Why don't you remove them? I said, well, why am I removing them? They don't bother me. They don't hurt. They're not painful. Oh, well, you should just take them out. You don't need all those wisdom teeth. I just don't get it. Why is it so casual to you just need to pull all your wisdom teeth out? I don't get it. My wisdom teeth are just fine. It's just because they've always been told that you should remove the wisdom teeth. And I'm 53 and I still have my wisdom teeth. I literally have I think it's 32 teeth. I think it's 32. And then my daughter, when she was about 13, 14, she was going to get braces. And we went and got consultation from different orthodontists. And this one orthodontist we went to said, oh, well, sure, we can do braces for her, but we probably have to pull out 4 of her teeth. And I was like, what? You need to pull 4 of her teeth? Why? Her teeth are fine. They just needed a little adjusting, but they were fine. I just don't get this very casual, nonchalant, oh, just pull the teeth out, no big deal. Pulling your teeth out is like major surgery. So we ended up going to a different orthodontist, and she got braces, and she never had any teeth pulled, and her teeth are fine. Like, I just don't get this whole thing about just being so flippant about your teeth. And then another thing, when my daughter did x-rays when she was young, I don't know, she might have been maybe 15, 16. And I don't know if any of you have seen like the panoramic x-rays. And she did a panoramic x-ray and you could see her wisdom teeth were like up in her jaw. I don't know how you say it, but you could see the teeth like way up where they're like moving down to break through the gum. So they're positioning themselves to come through the gum, but they said it would be like maybe 2 or 3 years out before she would actually see those wisdom teeth break through the gum. And it was actually kind of creepy to see it in the x-ray like that, just like this little tooth up in the x-ray, like up in her skull. But anyway, so the dentist said to us, well, you know, you might want to be proactive and let her go to a dental surgeon and remove them now before they grow in. And I was like, why? Why are we doing that? Why are you suggesting this? Oh, well, you know, they might grow in crooked and she might have a problem. Yeah, but they also might grow in straight as well, right? It could go either way. So why are we preempting a major surgery when you may not even need to do that? Yeah, you may have to do it, but we'll deal with that later if that's something we need to do. But I'm not going to preemptively elect her for major surgery for something she may or may not even need. And not to mention all the expense of it as well. So she's 18 now and her teeth are starting, you can actually see them breaking through the gum now. She has a little bit of slight pain, but for the most part, they seem like they're okay. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on it to see, but I don't see why we need to do surgery when they could grow in perfectly fine. Because I have all of my wisdom teeth. Yes, I had pain when they grew in because I still remember it to this day. I was like 17, 18 years old. But after I went through the initial maybe couple of weeks where I had a little bit of pain, I was fine after that. And I'm now 53. So I don't see why we need to preemptively remove her teeth when they could be perfectly fine. If there is an issue later, we will deal with it then. But as of now, everything's still fine. So save all that invasiveness, all that messing with your teeth, because your teeth can only take so much. The expense, the discomfort, the downtime, because when you pull your wisdom teeth, you have to have downtime. I think you need to be like off from work for like a few days. Yeah, all of that I just don't think is necessary. So that's just my view. So anyway, this was a long one today. I didn't expect it to be this long. I thought it was only going to be maybe 10 minutes, but that's a lot. So that's just kind of my experience with the dentist. And I don't know. I'm just kind of taking it day by day. And I hope that at least in part, I'm at least doing the right thing. I don't know. Who knows? I think I am, but we'll see. I still have a lot of sensitivity, but I still have all my teeth. And we will see. I'm just going to keep, hopefully as long as it stays okay and it doesn't get any worse, I'll be okay. Because I've been dealing with it all these years. So, okay, that was a long one today, guys. I will see you in the next one of my series. I'm in the Matrix, but it's not what you think. And next one will be part 6. Thank you. Bye.